Hi again, this is IntoMath, Grade 8, Lesson 3. In this lesson, we'll be talking about scientific notation, circumference and area of a circle, as well as the volume of a cylinder. Scientific notation is the notation that we often use when we're dealing with very large numbers. It's called scientific for a reason. In science, say when we're dealing with astronomy or when we're dealing with biology, we have some really large numbers. Say, imagine measuring the circumference or the total distance around the Earth. It's a very big number that we will not have enough paper to record on in just the standard form. So we use a scientific notation to represent numbers like that. A scientific notation is a number times the power of 10. So, depending on how large your number is, 10 will be to a given exponent. For example, if I'm talking about 3 million, how many zeros does a million have? 6. So, I will record it as 3 times 10 to the power of 6. So essentially 10 tells you how many zeros after the decimal point, or how many zeros after 1,000 or 1,000 or 1 a number has. If I'm talking about a billion, how many zeros does a billion have? 9. So it's going to be 3 times 10 to the power of 9, and so on. Scientific notation can be very, very useful. Now let's look at a circle. A circle is a shape that is completely round. It has a center, O. It has a radius, that is the distance from the center to any point on the circle. And then double the radius, this whole thing here, is the diameter. Diameter is the distance from one point of a circle to another point on the circle through the origin. The relationship between the total distance around the circle and the diameter always produces the same number, pi. We say pi, and the letter that we use to represent it is a Greek letter, pi. This pi number is always the same when you divide the total distance around any circle by its diameter. So pi is equal to circumference, because circumference is the total distance around the circle, over diameter. Circumference divided by the diameter. This number always results as the same number of approximately 3.14. In order to find the circumference of a circle, we use the following formula. C equals pi d. And since I know that diameter is double the radius, I can say that C also equals pi times double the radius. Pi times 2r. In order to find the area of a circle, so the inside of the circle, area, I need to multiply the number pi by the radius squared. So radius times itself and times pi. Say the radius of a circle is 10 centimeters. R equals 10. I need to find the circumference and the area of this circle. Circumference is equal to pi times 2 times 10. I can multiply 2 and 10 and get 20, and then just times it by pi and get 20 pi. For me to get an approximate value, I will multiply this using a calculator. There is a calculator button with a pi on your scientific calculator. If not, just use 3.14, but it's not very accurate. So 20 pi is the most exact answer that you could get. and just add units to it, and this is the circumference. Area could be found by multiplying pi by the square of the radius. In our case, it's 10 squared. Remembering bad math, we know that 10 squared has to be done before multiplying 10 by pi. Exponents come first before multiplication. So 10 times 10 is 100, and times pi is 100 pi centimeters squared. Now let's look at the 3D shape, three-dimensional shape, that's called a cylinder. A cylinder is a 3D shape that has two bases that are circles. At the bottom and at the top they are identical, and a lateral area, which is a rectangle that you fold around the circle. A cylinder has a circle and a circle at the base. Therefore, each circle has a radius and a diameter. A cylinder also has a height, literally the height of the cylinder. In order to find the volume of the cylinder, how much of something it can actually fit inside, so the capacity of it, we use the following formula. Volume equals pi r squared, which is the area of a circle, times the height of the cylinder. So say if the radius of the given cylinder is 3 centimeters and the height is 10 centimeters, then in order for me to find the volume of this cylinder, I need to multiply pi by 3 squared and by 10. Bad math is very important when you're solving problems like that. Always start with brackets. If you don't have brackets, do exponents next, then multiplication, division, and then addition, subtraction. So we first raise 3 to the power of 2 times 9 times 10, and then volume equals 90 pi. The units that we measure volume in are cubic units, because we have 3 dimensions now involved. So since this was centimeters, we have 3 as the exponent of the units. This is it for today. Now I encourage you to go try and practice this, and then you can continue to grade 8, lesson 4.